Hey, it's Algebra 2 with Trig, and today's lesson is 1.6, Graphing Linear Inequalities. In order to do this, you gotta choose a side. That'll make sense in a minute. So after this lesson, you can graph linear inequalities and determine an inequality given a graph. Okay, so let's pull out your guided notes here, and let's fill this in. First of all, you're going to write the equation you're given in slope-intercept form. Again, that is in y equals mx plus b. Then you plot the y-intercept and use the point, or use the slope to plot points on the line. Now, if a line is less than or greater than, okay, if the inequality is less than or greater than, the line is dotted or dashed, okay? If it's less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, it is solid or shaded. All right, which direction are we going to shade? Well, if it's less than or equal to, you're going to do this below the line. If it's greater than or equal to, it's above. Okay, so we're given this equation, inequality I should say, I keep using the word equation, but I mean to say is inequality. So y plus 3x is greater than -2. So to get this in slope-intercept form, I need to get y by itself. So this would just be y is greater than -3x minus 2. So my y-intercept is -2. My slope is -3. So I'm going to plot my points. My first point is going to be at -2, and I'm going to go down 3 and 1 to the right. Now, because our inequality sign does not have a line underneath it, this is a dotted line. So we would graph that. All right. Now, since it's greater than, we're going to be above the dotted line. So we would shade this area in as we see. Now, to save time so you don't have to shade everything, you can do this. So you just can draw arrows coming off of that dotted line like this. Okay? All right, practice time. All right, so you go ahead and attempt this one right here. Okay, so our y-intercept is 1. So I'm going to put a dot at 1. Then my slope is 3/4. That means I go up 3, 1, 2, 3 to 4, and then I go 4 to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. I end up at 4, 4 here. And I connect my dots. And I shade below. Right? Again, this is a solid, right? We're going to end up with a solid line, right? And below. We're going to shade below. All right, let's try another one. Go ahead and you try this one, and then we'll come back and we'll work on it together. Okay. So, our y-intercept, right, is -2. So we're going to go to -2. And then we're going to go down down 1 over 2. So I'm going to be right here with this. Okay. We're going to have a dotted line, right? So this tells us dotted and below. So we should end up with this. Okay, so here's a little tougher one. So I'm going to help you out here a little bit, and we're going to go with and subtract 3x from each side. So I'm going to end up with 1/2 is less than negative 3x plus 2. Now, excuse me, 1/2 y. Let's squeeze our y in there. Okay, so I want to get rid of that fraction. So the best way to get rid of a fraction is to multiply by the reciprocal of the fraction. So I'm going to multiply both sides of this equation by the reciprocal, which is 2. Okay. So 2 times 1/2 is 1. So this is going to be y is less than. And when we work on these again, I always draw these arrows in here, and you may want to also to remind me to multiply each one of them. So 2 times negative 6, excuse me, 2 times negative 3 is negative 6x. And then 2 times 2 is 4. So there is our values. So now we can come over here, and we're going to do our y-intercept is 4, so I'll put a dot there. And our slope is negative 6, so I'm going to go down 6 and over 1. And since it's less than, well, this means we're going to be dotted and below. And there we go. All right, you go ahead and try this one. Okay. So let's get things moved over. So this is going to be, if I add x to each side, I end up with 2y is greater than x plus 4. Now, we have to divide this 2 out of here. Well, the way I tell students to do this is to divide everything separately by 2. So you work on them in pieces. So 2y divided by 2 is y. X over 2 is equal to 1/2 of x, right? And plus 4 over 2 is plus 2. So our y-intercept here is positive 2. And we're going to go up 1 and over 2. All right, so this tells us we're a dotted line again, but this time, because it's to the right, we're above the line. So we end up with this. Okay, so we can take a graph of an inequality and go through each of these pieces and figure out what the equation of the inequality will be. So First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find my y-intercept, and there it is, 1. So b is equal to 1. That's easy enough. Then my slope. Well, my slope is up 1 over 1. So my slope, m, equals 1. So we're going to plug all that in. So it's, and now, okay, hold on. My line is solid. So I have a solid line, but it's below, shaded below. Okay, so let's go in pieces here. I know that it's y. Since it's below, it's going to go less than, and it's solid, so it's less than or equal to. M is 1, so 1x, or just x, plus 1. Okay. Let's see if you can do this one on your own. We'll be back with you in a moment. Okay. Let's go through the process. Okay. Y-intercept right here. Right? So B is equal to 2. What is M? Well, as I work my way down, this is my next point here. So I'm going to have to calculate my slope. That's at 0, 2, and this is at 2, negative 1. So M is equal to change in y over change in x. So that's going to be equal to 2 minus negative 1 over 0 minus 2. 2 minus negative 1 is the same as 2 plus 1, which is 3. So this is 3. 0 minus 2 is negative 2. So negative 3/2. And we can look at that drawing. We should know it's negative by looking at it. We have a dotted line. So it's dotted and below. So let's use this to build our inequality. So this would be y is below, so it's less than. It's not dotted, so it's not less than or equal to. M is negative 3/2 x plus 2.